course, I pushed the wrong button. Yay! Great start. Hi, everybody. It's a great way to start back again with chill and chats. I'm here
You actually
today.
pushed the right button because I heard that. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's more that I took the live stuff instead of the actual chill and chat screen. As you guys know,
Oh.
is all of us in I don't know what to call it. Like Dusk was so kind.
Studio?
Thank you so much for studio. Is it a studio? You know when you have
Kind
a
of.
talk show
It's
with
like a studio set.
yeah studio set. Yeah, she was very kind and drew all of this. Just here, have a script, have a scene, and I was just like, what? Thank you, but what? But yes,
No, it's nice.
yeah, she did a very good job. She even made the desk and everything. So, today, as you can probably see by the screen, is Celestia Appreciation Day or Celestia Celebration, if you saw the tweet. I have with me 3 Celestia fans, to put it mildly.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And as you
All
can
right.
see,
So who are we going to compete for? Who's the most Celestia fanboy extra?
yes.
Is that not just you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you even dedicated like a proper animation and the whole shebang.
Yeah, I think I'm the most. I think I'm the most Celestia extra out of everybody here.
I mean, I wrote a song about Celestia one time.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
It goes down really well live.
Yeah.
Oh, which one was that?
Yeah, let me link it in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
please.
please.
If it doesn't work with the linky lead, just send it in the Discord and I will
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, I should probably do the introduction, even though none of these people need introductions because they're all well known and we love them very much. We have Miss Pony, the big one with the adorable plushie.
Hi there.
She does art and also comics. If you haven't seen the comics, you need to go and check them out.
Just do the one comic within. But yeah.
We have the next one in line is Josh, aka Firebrand. I don't think he needs an introduction either.
Who is that?
I exist at the start.
Are you sure you exist?
Very British thing to say.
Yeah. It's well, no, it's just I'm a pure solipsist. It's just like I exist, nobody else does. I really hate. I honestly really hate solipsists. But we're not getting into philosophy here.
Well, why not?
Because solipsism is a stupid and egocentric philosophy, and I hate it.
We're getting philosophical, eh? Time to get the ice cream.
Literally never heard that word until today.
Huh.
Which is fine.
Yeah. It's a philosophy is a hobby.
It's a very
Yeah,
good hobby.
I wouldn't be so arrogant as to call myself a philosopher, but because I haven't published anything about it. Well, sort of, but not
Isn't
really.
everyone a philosopher, really?
To certain degrees, yes. Even Norway has actually hired philosophers to think about what they're going to do with their emergency funds so that they didn't spend it on too much on like warfare or investments. They're actually saving stuff for like in case World War III happen or stuff like that. So philosophers are very, very underrated.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis did a lot of talks on the BBC radio, trying to help and comfort people during World War II.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then, before I forget, the last but not least. Sorry, my English is not good
It's
today.
okay. It's okay, you got it.
The last but not least, a Blackened.
Hi.
That's all. That's it.
You got serenaded.
Yep. That's my job, though. I make the music.
Yeah, he makes the music.
I'm also something of a touring musician. Not an amazing one, but I do what I can.
Yeah, you still have the
Yeah.
mug. You still have the mug. Yay! And for people who don't know what I'm gushing about, I think it is 2 years ago or something. I gave Josh and Ari mugs of their favorite princesses, and he's now using the mug. Yay!
Nice.
Amazing choice.
And I love that she has pancakes on it. I love pancakes.
Nice.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be a Celestia episode if we do not get a Celestia. Which one should we start with? This one. We all know Celestia is a hard worker. She's never shied away from doing something that is needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any prospects in your own lives where you might think of Celestia as an inspiration while you're working?
While working.
I mean, it might be slightly a stretch, but over the last month, I've been helping to organize like 8 or 9 different people all to take a convention and vacation combination trip several months from now, and it's not easy organizing 8 different people from a bunch of different places and all their stays and their travels and events and all the stuff that needs organized ahead of time. So kinda in that way.
Yeah. I would imagine
Well,
that's yeah.
Yeah. It's I do see Celestia as a hard worker. She does do her job, but one thing that I do also see about Celestia is that she is about, you gotta take time for yourself. You gotta do some self-care. Like if you it's like she doesn't look like she has really like overworked herself. It's there's not a lot of episodes where she really overworks herself. There is a lot of times where, she does push it does look like she does push through a lot of like lonely pain. Like, especially since she had to banish her own sister.
Yeah.
But and there are times that she does talk about how sometimes it's hard to, constantly be around people and constantly having to smile, constantly having to put on essentially a performance for everybody. And she does put a lot of work into it, but it's easy to see that she also has taken time to, she takes time to decompress and take care of herself. So yeah, it's a work hard, push through it, but also it seems like she has a very healthy relationship with her job and her work.
And that is something you also take inspiration for, because it's very, very important looking at Lightning Bliss. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to say it. But
Is Bliss here? Can we bother her?
Someone
I
have
love
to say
bothering
it.
her.
Bliss!
You know what? I've got the link. I'm gonna link it to her.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh. Isn't Celestia her favorite princess as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I think no. Twilight is her favorite.
Twilight. True.
Oh yeah.
Of the sisters, I think Celestia's her favorite.
Yeah, of the sisters,
Yeah.
but like overall, it's Twilight. Okay.
So Blackened, what about you?
It's kind of a hard question for me to think about. I mean, the question was like, she's working hard, but I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking right now.
Also, how does she inspire you while you're working? If you look outside of, I want to make a Celestia song. How do I make that? But is there any other way she pops up?
That's happened once before. That song I linked in the chat, it didn't really start as one, but it had been in the works for like 3 years. Like, it just kind of sat on my hard drive, and then eventually I was looking at it and I thought, maybe I could write a song about Celestia. And then I just kind of started brainstorming a little bit. I do that a lot when I write lyrics. Like, sometimes I'm just like staring at notepad.txt. I'm thinking maybe I should do something. I'm always trying, but I don't take a lot of time for myself. Like, sometimes I take the time out to decompress and stuff, but other times it's just like, God, I need to do this. Very dedicated,
Yeah. I definitely see what you're referring to, and like her sense of duty.
Absolutely.
Is that there are things that she does that she clearly does not want to do. Like, you saw how painful it was for her to banish her own sister.
Absolutely.
But she still realized like she had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, her life was being threatened.
her life, all the people or all the ponies that she was caring for, and it's one of the few times she has actually cried, which kind of really sticks to me because she is a person or she is a pony as the character itself. What I really like about Gen 4 is that it has very 3D character personalities, if you put it like that.
Yeah, like very relatable in some aspects.
Yeah,
They're not
also,
just one note.
yeah, it's like they actually put. Also, for me, it kind of seems like they actually took a real person and just put it in a pony. So that,
Yeah.
and since they are so good at doing the continuity thing, it really strikes me as she is so old, and so as a Luna is old as well. But Celestia has adopted what Silver Quill called the agape love, which basically means like love for everyone.
Yeah.
So she understands sometimes that she has to put her personal what's it called? Interest might be wrong, but her personal
desires.
Personal
Interest.
desires on hold or underneath when she understands that the people are in danger. So even if you don't want to push someone away, you have to push someone away. But you can call it a very long time out.
Oh yeah.
Sadly.
Also, like, when it happened, like Luna just turned into Nightmare Moon. She'd never seen this before. It's like I'm not sure she even had time to weigh like this, that, or the other detail. It's like this is what is happening now, and I have to react.
Yeah.
Decisive.
Yeah, it's kind of like a first scene responder, like a lot of firefighters in English. Yeah.
Yes.
Like a lot of
Yes,
firefighters, war, and that might be one of the reasons why you also have so great respect for her, Josh. You also been in the military.
Yeah.
So you really understand that sometimes you need to do fast judgments or.
Yeah.
My English is
It's
really
like-
failing me today. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You're doing
I
fine.
mean-
You're doing fine.
In situations like Celestia's, there are definitely moments where, seconds could count.
Yeah, and there are also decisions where, she does a lot of long-term strategy. Like she had a long time to think about how she was going to save Luna.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of strategies. And also if you read the comics,
Comics, I love the comics.
she is Celestia is a bit of a warlord.
I am severely missing out on the comics.
Yes, you do.
Same.
I've not read a single one.
You need to
Same.
read the comics.
I know.
Yeah, she is a frontline fighter. So
And
yeah,
Antichrist draws are so pretty.
Yeah.
The IDW guys always do a great job.
Yeah. So it's she works very hard, but takes time for herself, and that's something that's very, very admirable.
For sure.
So for Josh and Myth, I think both of you have read comics, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite comic that includes Celestia? Or one you can recommend to Blackened?
That one that includes Celestia. I mean, there is the whole Mirror Sombra arc.
Oh yeah, I really like that one. I don't know why, but that's a very interesting one, both for seeing the mirrored characters and seeing how our characters are handling stuff. But yeah, maybe we can pick up something else later.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, when it comes to how Celestia looks, is there anything you guys would have liked to change, or?
No, I quite like her design.
Like, it
No,
doesn't... Sorry.
I do really like her design, but there's a part of my brain that's like, can we please put the colors in order, in the spectrum order?
What about you, Josh?
She's very pretty.
Well, I do like it. I do very much like the colors. I'll be honest, I'm not an artist, so I wouldn't know what would be it's like if rearranging the colors would be good, but there is a lot that I do like, it's just like the whole, especially with the contrast to Luna, is the whole light and dark, and her there's definitely an evocation of the invocation of like the Aurora Borealis in her design, and and if you know how auroras are created, well, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a very regal design, like slender, sort of like very very queenly.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see her in her
like the
regalia.
height is a big factor into that too.
Yeah.
I'm looking for examples. There's an artist called Magna Luna who draws a lot of Celestia and Luna, and they both look amazing every time. And it's not exactly show style, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
And
I
something
like their
Magna
art too.
Luna does. Yeah, something
Do you
Magna
have a
Luna
link?
does is takes Celestia's. I'm looking for it.
Yep.
She takes Celestia's main colors, and in like the ends are tinted like a really bright gold.
Ooh. Fancy.
Let me see. Earth Song does the same thing. Look at that. Actually, why don't I just search by artist? Here we go. I can't search my favorites anymore. No.
Oh no.
I forgot they got rid of that search bar.
I
They
think
stayed everywhere else.
I think if I were to pinpoint anything about Celestia, I think I would have made her horn a little shorter and the wings a little more compact. Because for me, it's
I like
still
the way she is.
Yeah, so she is good. She's fine the way she is. It's just if I were to, also I don't know. For me, it's more like biologically, it seems a little bit too long. So
yeah,
it's
I can see that.
See,
I think they're also directly invoking like angel
Age?
imagery with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how she has like slightly oversized horn and wings, but I also like that.
Yeah.
I mean, same.
I think it's designed to, like set her apart,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
like make her like seem like a really strong figure.
Yeah.
Extra regal. In all the right places.
Yes.
Those being the horn and wings.
And it is really nice though that they are referring to the Earth Pony strength as well quite often when they talk about alicorns.
So I might have actually been thinking of Earth Song 9405. Because here immediately is what I was looking for. I'm going to link it in the Discord. See, that
that's
bright
lovely.
golden on the ends of the hair is always gorgeous.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, didn't she make a book or something?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I think that was the one, or there's somebody with very similar art style. Made like a whole book with backstories and the main six and war stuff, I think. Art style.
Maybe. I know Earth Song does a lot of different AUs and different little stories.
Oh, that looks so similar and it looks so cool. Yeah, I think I'm on the... Okay, stop fan gushing about awesome art. We can do that on our own time.
But it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very pretty. So, oh no, final sight. Why did you do that? No pink Celestia. Josh cannot see this since he's not in the Stuffy Wuffy, so let me... Can't I just...
Pink Celestia.
Pink Celestia.
The way that main's designed it almost makes it look like Rarity.
Yep.
It's the curls more than anything.
Yeah, it's the curls.
I don't know if that link works in my Twitch chat, but
this is very pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, did you confuse her with Cadence? It's my question.
Could be a situation of like we've seen other pony toys come out where they kind of had one design and some toys got made, then they changed the design before it went on screen.
Yeah.
But the toys still exist.
Yeah, whatever happened to Princess Skyla?
No, we don't talk about this.
We
Skylar
don't
got a
She
talk
tripped and
about
fell on her own
Skyla.
shears.
No, no, no.
No.
We don't talk about Skyla.
She tripped and fell on her own shears.
Oofto.
Oh god.
Bit of a movie reference.
We have disapproving Celestia in the corner. So, when we're talking about disapproving Celestia, what is the one thing you wish they would have done different with her in the series?
Give her more screen time.
Screen time.
It took a long time for us to get a Celestia episode. I mean, she did have screen time in the first season, but it doesn't really feel like she had like an episode to call her own.
Yeah, she was just kind of there to, pick up the pieces or congratulate people.
Kind of be the leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
What was the episode where Celestia and Luna go on that like holiday thing? What season was that?
That was like season.
I think it was
8
later,
or
like
9.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
It was 8. Yeah, season 8.
Yeah, it took them that long to do it, which I wish they'd done it way sooner.
Yeah.
Well, there was kind of the episode with Philomena, but that was mostly Philomena, not necessarily.
Yeah,
Celestia.
so that was mostly a Fluttershy episode, and yeah.
And all the shenanigans.
Yeah, and showcasing, really putting on display Twilight's apocalyptic neuroticism.
Oh, poor Twilight. Oh, sweet little child.
But yeah, in terms of things that I wish that Celestia would do better, is that there are a lot of times where Celestia is dwarfed.
Dwarfed?
Yeah. Basically, we're told like, oh, Celestia is powerful. Celestia is such and such. Celestia is the most powerful being in Equestria, and more often than not, she gets her butt handed to her.
Yeah, I don't know if that is because of the future vision stuff or if it is just bad planning.
Yeah. The unfortunately, the kind of the nature of storytelling is that that it's like when you have a character like Celestia, you kind of sometimes you have to write yourself into a corner. Like I have a D&D campaign where in Dungeons and Dragons, like gods are a part of the setting. Gods are a part of the setting. So you have to come up with reasons as the dungeon master, as the creator and director of the world, to come up with reasons why the gods can't interfere.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that Celestia's role, it's like if she is so strong, so why does she not solve all the problems? Why does she it's like why doesn't she do all of these things? If this is such a big deal, why doesn't she just do it? And unfortunately, and a lot of the answers that the show has given us is, oh, she just gets her butt handed to her. Because the thing is,
at first it was like an element of surprise problem, but after a while, yeah.
Yeah, and so the thing is that Celestia isn't the protagonist. She isn't. And so by nature of how the story works, the heroes are the ones who have to figure it out. The heroes are the ones that have to go on the journey. She's a mentor. She's so what she's supposed to do is she's supposed to guide and help nurture. She's not the one that's supposed to solve the problem. The heroes are. But at the same time, she's just so powerful. You got to figure out what to do with her. So, and sometimes they did figure out ways to utilize her without warping her. Is sometimes she has to go on and deal with a separate problem while the heroes deal with another problem. Like I really don't like the season what was it? The season 7
Season
premiere.
4 with the storm.
Yeah, I don't like the season 7 premiere, but in terms of what it did for this, in terms of what it did for, you know, what for Alicorns, but that was a good use of Celestia and Luna's power in that they had to hold off this big freak magical storm that was threatened to kill everyone, and while everyone else had to figure out how to fix the problem. It's a honestly, in season 3 with Cadence, that's kind of the things that they usually do. It's like Cadence was the one who had to hold the shield, and Shining Armor was the one who had to encourage her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in order to avoid being redundant, you do have to come up with different things every time. It's just like, oh, of course, Celestia has to be the one doing has to go somewhere else in order to fix the problem. So you do have to, you know, change things up a bit, but just you know, she got captured way too much at the beginning, and that really hurt her status as someone to look up to, someone to be respected. It's just like, okay, if you're this ruler, why? It's like I'm not sure we can fully trust you to be this to be this great ruler. It's like, why are you even here?
Well, it was touched on earlier how, you know, the long-term storytelling and how she put certain pieces into place and how she had a long game plan. I have to wonder sometimes if she didn't sometimes let herself be captured. Because if she is the most powerful being in this entire country, and yes, people will surprise her sometimes, get the jump on her, or she'll just be exhausted sometimes, people get the jump on her, or overpower her. Or it's like, well, Shining in Cadence's love is so powerful that powered up Chrysalis to defeat her the one time, but I'm wondering if sometimes she didn't let herself get captured just so that others will rise up and fight the fight, because it should not always be her fighting a one-person fight all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking earlier season 1. You're telling me that this
Yeah,
magical, ethereal being couldn't outsmart this tiny group of power sprites. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You have all this power and you're just letting yourself be captured.
So yeah, there is a little bit of there is some truth to that. It's just, so yeah, I'm on TV tropes a lot. So they're basically 3 sorts of gambits that a lot of intelligent characters use. There's the Batman gambit, the Xanatos gambit, and the roulette gambit. So basically the Batman gambit is a strategy that relies on doing what the victim does naturally. So it's like, I knew you would come and rescue me because your pride wouldn't let anyone else have the final blow. And the Xanatos gambit is where every outcome of the plan leads to my success. The roulette gambit is the only bad one. It's where you're just like, okay, come on. How could you have possibly predicted this? There are so many moving parts. There are so many tiny things that had to happen for this. How did this happen? It's like, there's no way you could have predicted this other than seeing the future.
Which she possibly could, we're not sure.
Oh yeah, it's like, yeah, it was alluded to. It's like, but then again, that just raises more questions. Like, okay, if she can see the future, like how are these times that she appears to be surprised or bum rushed, or it just seems sometimes or she is deliberately failing in order to help someone grow. In some cases that can work, but in a lot of cases it doesn't. Like, it comes off as like, was that necessary?
The thing is, for me, it kind of goes back to something that Silverquill talked about, that she is, when you come to like the timeline conspiracy, as they say, like, she's seeing what she can. She does these kind of things to avoid having a worse type of outcome. type of thing. And she may not know what is happening or who is doing it, or she might be faking that she is surprised, because if you're not surprised when something surprising is happening, people are going to be like, did you plan this? Are you in on it? Like, people would be sus. So
Here's the thing. It's
with,
not like this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that with her possibly having future visions that she doesn't control, it, for me, explains a lot about her, and maybe it's a cheap escape for it, but for me it makes me less less uncomfortable with how they are portraying her. But yeah, please, Myth.
See, I think you hit the nail on the head there with one of those lines, is that it's something she doesn't control. Because when I watched the show, I think that happened once, if not like twice. And when it happened, it seemed like she was waking up from a dream when she saw some kind of vision of the future.
Yep.
So it seems like, one, it doesn't happen very often. Like, she can't just tell the future all the time when she wants to. And two, she might not be able to tell if that's absolutely going to happen or if she had a startling dream.
Ooh, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah. She could just have crazy dreams every night and we don't know.
Yeah.
Or, theorized once, she has no dreams, because Luna said something once about how her sister had no power or had no status in the realm of dreams. It's like,
I think
well, what if
that's
Celestia never dreams, and the only time she does is when she has these visions?
That would be very interesting, because
it'd be
that would fit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they, would invoke. I think they were trying. I think they just kind of alluded to it, but maybe they were trying to invoke some sort of like Apollo gift of prophecy sort of thing with Celestia.
That would fit. Also, with her then not having any authority or power in the dream realm would also be because the dream realm belongs to Luna.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it would have been better if they maybe leaned into that a little more.
Yeah,
because there's just a lot of things about Celestia and really alicorns that we don't understand, and there's just a lot of, and I know I've gone into this about how like just a lot of world building is clumsy. Like so the birth of an alicorn is nothing that Equestria has ever seen. It is beyond even our understanding.
That annoyed me so much.
It's like, I mean, it's technically not a contradiction when you look at it from a certain point of view, but it's still like, come on, don't. It feels so carelessly worded. It feels so carelessly worded.
Yeah, because I can understand if they don't understand an alicorn can be birthed from a unicorn and an alicorn. That I can understand. They don't understand how in Equestria, and Equestria was basically created when the princesses took the throne, as far as I remember, both from canon in the series and canon in the books / comics. So it's like, I like lore. Okay, sorry.
Oh no, that's totally right.
A long time back, like I think when seasons 3 or 4 were still airing, I kind of had the headcanon of, well, wait, when was she born? I don't know. I just remember I used to have this headcanon in my previous comic that never took off, that there's like, oh, well, there's greater alicorns and lesser alicorns, and the greater ones are the ones that ascend and usually have more power, because it overwhelmed them through magical means that they took on this shape, and the lesser alicorns are just born that way. They're more physically alicorns, more so than like spiritually or magically alicorns.
Didn't think of that one.
How do the headcanon, though?
Yeah, I like headcanons. Headcanons can be fun. And what did Celestia say? There's no wrong way to fantasize? So yeah,
no wrong way to
headcanons are fun.
Yeah. I just wish there are things about Celestia's character that are not well explained, and that is kind of what I went into with the animation folly of Celestia. Is that all right? So it's basically an exercise in pony apologetics. Like, okay, so the show is telling us that Celestia is a good person. So the show is telling us that Celestia is a righteous pony who cares about things, is very smart, and doesn't do really a lot of things wrong. So how can we reconcile that with things that we have seen in the show? How do we make sure that these two things don't contradict each other? Because a lot of times it has seemed like Celestia didn't know what she was doing.
Hmm.
Well, despite being who she is, she still isn't perfect, and
Oh
there
yeah.
are times when she doesn't know what she's doing. Like when
Yeah.
Nightmare Moon happened, she definitely didn't know what she was doing. She was just like,
Actually, I would
I
argue.
need to deal with this.
Yeah. Which instance of Nightmare Moon?
Oh, sorry. I also, it's kind of clumsy of me to say she definitely didn't know. The show version, not the comic version.
Yeah.
I've had this theory for quite a while. Like, the elements of harmony have never been described as banishing anyone else to the moon before. So it's like, yeah, she knew she had to use them to deal with Nightmare Moon attacking her, but it's possible that she didn't know that 1,000 years on the moon is what was going to happen.
That is true,
Yeah.
because it seems like the crystals. Yeah, no, the elements. The elements are kind of shooting. As far as I understood from them, they're showing what the person's heart is, and that's why Luna's heart was as cold and lonely as the moon. That's why she was trapped in the moon.
She also felt isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, the moon. Nobody else on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think part of it is that, it's like Celestia is so intrinsically tied to the world of Equestria. It's like whatever, like, how the world works is dropped or told to us, like it affects it affects how we view Celestia. Because heck, the show starts with her. She's the one giving the opening narration, and the story is about her and Luna. It's like she and Luna are so intrinsically tied to Equestria's lore and how everything works. So when something doesn't make sense, or something is confusing or obscure or not well understood, it reflects on them.
That is true. Blackened, what do you think? You have been silent for a while.
Yeah, sorry, I've just kind of been blanking out.
You okay?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Also, Blue Griffin says, please note, it was in the moon, not on the moon.
In the moon in the show, on the moon in the comic.
Yeah.
That changes things. Just
Yeah.
literally
Under
trapped.
the moon, in fact.
Yeah, under the moon.
Under the moon.
Like, even if she wanted to get out, she couldn't. That's dark.
Yeah, it's
Dark side of the blue corn moon.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, the IDW comics are
half
fun.
in shadow.
Yeah, the IDW comics are fun, but unfortunately, it's just, and I've talked about this a lot. It's hard to get everyone on the same
page.
There are a lot of writers, and it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get everyone on the same page when it comes to these sort of things. It's like with the IDW comics, it's like the comics are canon to the show, but the show is not canon to the comics.
Isn't it the other way around?
Sorry, it's just like the comics are beholden to the show, but the show is not beholden to the comics.
I thought the show is canon to the books, to the comics, but the comics are not canon to the show.
Thing is, there's a lot of things in the comics that never make it into the show, but the comics don't try and rewrite the lore that we have seen in the show.
Yeah.
Right?
As far as I understood, yes. Also, Nightmare Rarity, that was quite impressive.
Yeah, that was cool to see in the show.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool to see in the show. But
and
there are a lot of really cool ideas.
Yeah. Also, seeing the double the Doctor Pony in that comic, that was pretty fun.
So, so I think that's a really. I think Celestia should have been a queen.
That would have been nice, yeah.
I think in
It's a-
like the show Bible, she was at first.
Yeah,
She-
she was at
Dude.
first, but they changed it because princesses were more marketable, and now it's not fashionable to have a queen.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
now it's fashionable to have a queen and not fashionable to have a princess.
Yeah.
Yep, basically.
Oh, how times have changed. Also, we have a question in chat.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of nightmare rarity, here's a question for all of you. Would you all love to have seen more of Celestia's evil counterpart, Daybreaker?
Yes.
Mm.
Even if she technically never existed, that would have been amazing.
I am of two minds about that. On one hand, the Daybreaker that we did see in a
The
royal
episode?
great personality, loved it very very
So
much.
sassy.
Yes, I would love to just have more of that. Just I still love that. Oh, so much black. We get it. You're sad.
Oof, though.
Just like, oh
Cheer
my
up, emo
god,
kid.
savage. And that great personality. And on the other hand, there are parts of me that like the idea just having more of that looming over, just like, oh, this is what Celestia could become. And just having that little bit of existential horror just kind of just had that shadow looming over the character. And I'm unsure, like, turning her evil, like, what would, because this is a show ultimately about, like, teaching morals. So how would that help Twilight? How would turning Celestia evil help Twilight grow? Like, what could you teach her with that?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
The threat.
Yeah, actually,
Isn't it?
getting
A
the
desperate
mentality.
times call for desperate measures situation, I guess.
Yeah, and sometimes you do have to fight the people you love to keep the others safe. That would be a really hard lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart.
I know that after we saw Daybreaker, because I used to write a lot more stories than I do now, I started writing a story about, well, what if? Because at the time, probably still now, but at the time, it seemed like Luna fans like far outnumbered the Celestia fans, or they were more vocal or something. I was like, well, what if? Like Luna had this much support 1,000 years ago when she was feeling so isolated and so unseen and unimportant. What if there was an outpouring of Luna love and not as much Celestia love, and the reverse of Nightmare Moon happened? We never had Nightmare Moon, we always had Daybreaker. And then we had a history that progressed from that point. I wrote out a story about that.
Ooh.
Of like the
Yeah.
fallen Daybreaker who had her powers stripped from her, and she had to like roam the land trying to find a way to regain some magic, and she teamed up with an exiled Minotaur, and there was like necromancy. It was a crazy story. Honestly, I should probably revisit that.
Yeah.
I forgot about it until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of like that. There's a lot of fun stories that do come from this idea, because Celestia is like a goldmine of great stories. And I remember one of my favorite ones is where Chrysalis returned after the season 3 finale to try and fight again, and Celestia goes out to fight her alone. But she goes with 2 guards, but she tells them to run away. And she just kind of it is kind of a lampshade fic, but the idea is that she lost against Chrysalis because Celestia is so bloody powerful that if she used even a fraction of her power when so many ponies were around, that she would have severely hurt them. And she's not about that. So what she did was she got Chrysalis to fight her when no one else was around. I think that would have been that honestly, I was talking earlier about how Celestia has to where like these godlike characters have to have a reason for not interfering. Honestly, that might be a very good reason, is that she is so powerful that if she uses a lot of it, she could severely hurt people. It's kind of like the sun. A little bit of sun is fine, but you can easily get too much. It's if our I just
saw
looked at
that.
the stream.
Yeah,
looking at the
we're getting fan sponsor art from our Dare Final site, and that
Yeah.
is we are sponsored today by Bananas.
Yeah. But yeah, it's honestly, if you look at the science, is that if we were like a little bit closer to if we were like a little bit closer to the sun, we would probably our planet would probably suffer a similar fate to Venus. And if we were a little bit further away from the sun, we would suffer a fate closer to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are in, it's like where we are in the planet, we're in a sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think maybe they could probably that's in order to fix it, they probably lean that into that a little bit more. Like Celestia is so powerful that she has to be very careful in how she exercises that power.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Brown.
Ow.
Brown. Powerful Celestia. I have a powerful Celestia.
Oh no, she's attacking.
Yes.
Well, I was more going for that she was powering up the light sign, but yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of my problems with Celestia would be solved if they just kind of expressed that she is so very powerful that she just has to be very careful, like some sort of like a the fic I was talking about earlier. It's called A World of Matchsticks.
Oofdo.
It's a direct reference to the Superman quote from the Justice League TV show. How Superman feels like he's in a world of cardboard, where if he is not careful, he could break things so very easily. He has to be on guard every minute of every day to not destroy things. And so if Celestia feels like she's in a world of matchsticks, she has to be very, very careful. Like anything could set it off.
That is sad to think about.
Yeah.
That does remind me of later episodes where like we saw her being excited about like performing on stage or excited about little things, And it's like how she never got to go and do these like relatable like everyday things that other people do, and it's like it's really resonating when you paint it like that.
Yeah, she never gets the chance to, cut loose.
Yeah, it took hundreds of years of practicing to be like, okay, now I can finally do the things.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a thing that you've never been able to do but you wanted to do?
For a long time, I was really terrified of going out in public into groups and socializing. At a certain point, I just started forcing myself, like, okay, I'm gonna be uncomfortable, but I better do it because I'll get better at it that way.
Yeah.
I guess you could say going to cons was like that thing for me, but it was more of a case of like not being able to because of like monetary issues, but also being too young. But now I have that opportunity, so it's like I've broken out of my shell.
Yeah. I think for me it's a little bit of a lot of times I have an insecurity about I don't like when people feel like I'm unapproachable. And it is partially my fault because I am so introverted, but I don't like that. It's like I don't like when people place me on a pedestal. Like I want to just be one of the guys. So I want to just, sit down, play a game with people, cut loose. It's just like, no. It's like, I'm not like this big important person. I'm not this big important untouchable being. I'm just a regular guy like the rest of you.
Yeah.
I think
on your shoes on the wrong feet some days, just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Like, I know you're very busy and stuff, but otherwise, when I met you at BabsCon, you, like, it was, also, I wasn't sure when you were too busy or not to talk, but when I was able to talk to you, like, you're very sweet in real life, and
thank you.
You forgave me for giving the bone crushing hug, so I'm sorry.
That's the thing. It's just that's why I think that's part of a reason why I'm a little bit of a hugger is that I just want to show people, hey, I'm approachable. You can
Yeah.
approach me.
Hug me.
I remember I only got to see you for like a minute at BronyCon 2019. And I was
Yeah.
just like, hey, I've got to go, but I just wanted to say hi. I drew this for you and Ari. And it was immediate big smile, big handshake. And it's like, oh, dude, cool. That's nice. Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's the thing. It's unfortunately, and I just have problems with my social battery sucks.
That's relatable.
Like it's like
I feel that.
everyone else is running on power core, and I'm like running on a 2003 lithium ion battery.
Aw, poor baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's and I hate that. I wish I was extroverted. I really do. It's like my life would be so much easier if I was extroverted.
Have you
Like
ever, it doesn't solve the problem, but have you ever tried knitting?
Oh, knitting, that's fun.
knitting.
Knitting.
Knitting is
No.
fun. It's very
It
sociable.
took me this long to mention knitting. I went 55 minutes without talking about knitting.
That's a
Yeah.
new record for you.
Oh, it is.
And I had to force myself to be extroverted, because it's like I'm going to all these events and there's so many people,
Yeah.
and I do fandom stuff. So if people approach me, I can't just be like, hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say hi to people. Like
Yeah.
even if it's someone I like, of course I'm gonna be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, like I just grabbed you at UK PonyCon, like, here, I have something for you. Come, come.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm one of the weird
Mm.
ones.
That
did
meatball is
mention
currently sitting
knitting.
on my desk. It's empty, but it's there.
Yeah. It's
I
a nice
did
bottle.
mention knitting because it kind of
Yeah.
helps to have something in your hands that you can focus on while you're in social situations.
Yeah, that's true.
Helps me at least.
Yeah, that's the meat bottle.
The
Yee.
King Arthur of beers.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, brain fart. Yes, come back to me, please.
Celestia.
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 Yeah.
Celestia.
Celestia.
Just talking about how we have do we ever feel like we can't really cut loose?
Yeah.
Because she is one thing that we do see about Celestia is that she does want others to cut loose, and she does seem a little like
Woohoo!
it's like while she does appreciate respect for her authority, she also kind of doesn't like when people put her on a pedestal. Like we see this very early on, like during the film. I think it was during the Philomena episode where the cakes were. She was just sipping tea, and they were like treating the cut.
Stressing out.
They were stressing out, and she decides to play a little prank on them in order to try and lighten the mood. It's like it's not. She's just like, guys, calm down.
I can't believe how many people got mad about that. Like, oh, she's a troll. And it's like, no, she's trying to help them not be so tense.
Yeah, relax. Like, gotcha. I just loved that delivery by her voice actor. That was so awesome. Yeah, I met her voice actor at BabsCon as well. She was also so nice. Like I sadly thought she would be more like Tabitha. If I didn't know Ellie that well, I would imagine she would behave like Tabitha is to most people. Like she would have some more room and be more like, hey, I would like to concentrate on this and try to be like a bit distance. But no, Celestia's voice actor was like literally just like Ellie. She was right there talking, helping, because I was looking for a guy who was supposed to help me with some hotel room that I had issues with because the hotel double pulled my card for the hotel room. So yeah, I was in a bit of a panic.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I actually met Nicole at Babs as well. It was more of an accident though. I was hanging with Charlie and Shelley, who run Ponyville Cider Fest and Windy City PonyCon. I was just sitting with them at the lunch table, and she just came over. She's like, "Hey guys, I'm going back to my hotel room." So I thought, I'll strike up a conversation. But there's like, "Oh my god, you Nicole Oliver." It was actually quite a pleasant conversation, even though it lasted like 10 seconds. And when she
Nice.
left, Charlie said something to the effect of, "You handled that way better than our friend did," because the way he described this friend is like he came up to Nicole Oliver and he just stuck his hand out like proper shaking, as if he was in the presence of like a divine figure, you know?
Sorry, but that sounds kind of cute though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just here like, "Hey, how are you? Nice, cool."
Yeah.
I have a penchant for doing that.
Yeah, it's yeah, just word to it's just don't like it's like coming up to these people, don't get too starstruck because
Yeah.
It
because
feels
kinda
really
hard
weird
if
when
you first
someone's doing that to you.
Well, the closest
Yeah.
I've ever been to like being properly starstruck with like
Yeah.
a figure in related to the show was when I was in Galacon a couple months ago. I was at the VIP dinner. Daniel Ingram was there. I thought, I'd say hi to him. When he's like, "Yeah, I'm Daniel Ingram," I was like, "Good Lord, are you really?" But that was more of a performative thing. I was referencing Harry Potter, but the rest of it I was just super chill. He was really nice.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. He's just like hanging around with everyone else. Like Ellie Ray was there.
Yeah.
Aimalu was there, the director too of the MLP G5 movie. But it was like a lot of guests, like the musicians too. It was cool.
Yeah. I got to meet most of them myself, and I'm really happy Imalu was able to make it to Galacon because she was having a lot of anxiety for going to cons due to some trouble on Twitter. So
Yeah,
I'm really
I remember
happy she
that.
was able to have a fun time.
That was cool.
She and Alumix?
Alamex.
Yeah. I met them as well later in the evening on Galacon, and there was a guy with a guitar, and we all started singing stuff, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, he's cool. Also related to the guests at Galacon, like all the really big guests, through the help of Deus the Conchair, I actually had a guitar that I donated. He got everyone, like all the guests, to sign it. It was really great moment, and that guitar sold at the charity auction for €2,000.
Miss Pony, I think you were trying to say something?
Oh yeah, about Imalu. It's like I had a moment like what Blackened described earlier. We just casually ran into someone without planning it. So before G5 even happened, it was back at BronyCon 2019. I didn't go to half the panels I planned on. I was so distracted by Solar. But the one thing I did go to was this artist sketch swap where they didn't even have enough table space for all the artists because it's like everyone brings their own sketchbook and a reference of their character, and you pass the sketchbooks around and everyone draws something in a new page. So you get like a bunch of pages from different artists.
Ooh.
And we didn't have enough table space, so a bunch of people just ended up sitting in a circle on the floor, which was hysterical. It's just a bunch of artists drawing on the floor rapidly. And I was 2 or 3 people away from this one girl who kept like using lots of different colors and like lots of movement when she was drawing. And I was close enough to see it, and it's like, man, her art is so great. It's all dynamic and adorable. And then I made a point that afterwards, as we were all leaving, it's like, hey, like your art is great. Like, who are... And she was Imalu. And it's like, yeah, I'm totally gonna like follow you online. Your stuff looks awesome. And then imagine my surprise, 2 years later, G5 comes out, and I hear all this stuff about Imalu. It's like, hey, that's cool. Her.
Awesome.
She's also very nice.
Oh man, that's really good. But yeah, I met Nicole Oliver a couple times. She actually blessed my proposal at Crystal Mountain PonyCon.
Yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
Wait, I think I remember watching the live stream of that.
Yeah, there was a live stream. I remember.
No, wait, I watched the live stream of the wedding, not the proposal.
Yeah. The live stream of the wedding, and but yeah, she's like she blessed our proposal. It was so great. Like, oh my gosh.
Was that planned?
It's a fanboy
thing. No.
Oh wow, that's even better.
Yeah.
He's a nice person.
Yeah.
I've met a few like show figures, like aside from the two I mentioned, Nicole and Emma, not Emma Larson, Daniel Ingram. I've also met Emma Larson, Andrea Libman, Ingrid Nilsson, Jenna Warren, and Ellie Ray, obviously.
Ellie Ray, all
she's amazing.
Ellie Ray. Ooh, she's a real life Pinkie Pie.
Absolutely. And I've also met Anne Lee Heed. I know Flitter knows who that is, but for those who don't, she is a Swedish voice actress and comedian. She's done a lot of Swedish like dubs for cartoons and stuff, especially French Prince Magic, particularly Spitfire. She also sings, and I was offered the chance to play a song with her at UK PonyCon this month, just a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah, that was a
which
mixed
was a lot
bag
of
for
fun.
me.
She had a fun time. I know
yeah.
I did. We were supposed to do 2 songs, but we only ended up doing 1 together.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Ye-
She said she'd be happy to do another one with me again.
Yeah, and there might be a convention popping up in Sweden as well, so
Yep, I've
maybe
heard
they
things
can
about
play
that.
there. Yeah, I met one of the con chairs for.
Yeah, I met him too.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully that. But yeah,
I've always wanted an excuse to go to Sweden. Now I have it.
Dude, you have an excuse to come to Norway. You can visit me. Meh.
You always have an
true.
excuse for Sweden. The chocolate. Come on.
The chocolate, excuse you. My chocolate is Norwegian. Meh.
Okay, go to Norway. Eat the chocolate,
Then you go to Sweden.
and also hug Chris because she needs.
I've had lots of Norwegian chocolate. It's great.
Eh,
I remember that care package you sent me
Hint.
last year. That was really amazing.
eh. Didn't I send you one as well, Myth?
If you did, it never arrived.
Oh no! I have injustice to correct. Please
Which reminds
DM
me, I need to.
DM me now.
Okay, I'll DM. I think you've already got my address in your DMs, but that does remind
No,
me.
because
I
I was hacked in
supposed to
January.
be here today.
I was jacked in
What?
January, so I lost all my stuffies.
Oh yeah, speaking
Oh,
of
it was. Okay.
oh.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Speaking
you're
of
good.
chocolate, wait, who's talking?
You.
Okay. All right. So anyway, speaking of chocolate, I remember at PonyCon Holland, some guy came up to a table I was sitting at. He just dumped like 3 bags of Kit Kats in front of me. It's like, here, have these.
Yeah, I went a bit crazy in Holland PonyCon.
Yeah. The reason for that is because last year he was at Everfree Encore in Germany. He actually had a van that he drove there, which had free candy on the window. It actually did. There was freak Andy for the Game Grumps fans. It actually had like Kit Kats in there, so I was like, oh cool. And he came back next year and he just gave me loads of Kit Kats.
Are you talking about actual K-Cats or are you talking about Quick Lunch, the Norwegian one?
Actual Kit Kats.
Okay. Because Norwegian ones are called fast lunch.
I gotta try those.
You have tried those. I have given them before.
Maybe. I can't remember. All I remember is like those big yellow bars that you've always given me.
Yeah, you've gotten the small one as well. Small. I have one in front of me actually.
I only remember like the really big ones.
Yeah, red, yellow, and green. I can take a picture. Maybe I should turn on some light. By the way, Josh, didn't I give you guys some as well on Babscott?
You asked me to remember something. That was your first mistake.
1 second, I'm gonna turn on some light.
You play D&D. You should know to take notes.
Shut up.
I shouldn't be in charge. I need to check for a package. It's okay though. Did I just talk about D&D for a few minutes?
I don't know anything about D&D.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Whenever I pop into any sort of chat, it's like D&D inevitably pops up.
Like I'm just a man who plays guitar. I don't know anything about RPGs. Most of my RPG experience. My guitar. Oh, I've got like 5 of them. They have strings and they make noise. They sound good.
Fascinating.
Well, are there any other things about Celestia that we do need to talk about, or?
There's something I didn't mention earlier. I forget which topic we were discussing.
There was the thing about her being on a pedestal, which I actually did have something to bring up. I think this was I don't remember exactly which episode it was. It might have been Celestial Advice, where Twilight says something like, "For the love of Celestia," and she's like, "I wasn't aware I was an expression." She hates that.
Yeah.
Does she actually hate that?
I imagine her eye rolling, but she's just like, "I wasn't aware it was an expression." After some time, she'd probably get like real tired of it.
Imagine people never say that around her.
Oh,
Yeah.
all the eye rolls.
Yeah, it's just on one hand, as a ruler, you do need to command some sort of like authority and respect, but on the other hand, it's just like if they put you on a pedestal, then that's how cults of personality form.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. It was brought up like early on, and I ended up not saying it. Something that made me like her like immediately, like not the first time I watched it, but like early on in the show. I was rewatching episode 1 and hearing like the original intro lore about the two sisters and stuff. And the line where like after Nightmare Moon was sent to the moon, uh she said Celestia took on responsibility for both day and night and has been ruling for like 1,000 years. It's like that's hard. Dealing with what just happened in your family, the only family you have as far as we know, and then taking on all this responsibility to constantly be on the clock without a second's rest for 1,000 years, that is a lot of responsibility.
For sure.
Yep.
And
Oh, you're
she
back.
stood and
Yes.
delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Ska miss you and take a photo of the quick lunch.
Yeah. And one thing one thing you really do have to think about in regards to that is just really look at the show and just think about like all the chaos that happens on a daily basis or like a
Yeah.
monthly basis,
Yeah, just look away
and
from Discord.
and apply that to 1,000 years.
That is a long time.
How
Like,
is
think of all the
she
things you
still
could do.
sane?
Like, remember the 200th episode, the wedding episode, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the main six are just fighting some other monster. Anyway, back to wedding plans.
Yeah.
You have to think, like, 1,000 years is a very long time. Imagine if you could live to like over 1,000 years. Like, there's a lot of stuff you would remember, but also a lot of stuff you'd forget.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Like
And
like changing times and cultures. Like I remember there's a really funny Tumblr post about how a vampire who has lived a long time what probably like assimilated like all the slang from every single time.
Back in my day, we called everything poggers.
That's like in my comic within, there's a character who is 700 years old. Like it's not 1,000, but still, not a lot of it has shown up yet in the comic. But there's a lot in the writing of touching on how she has seen the world through centuries, and there is a lot that she's forgotten, and there's a lot that just sticks and is never going away because it's been there for 1,000 or for 700 years. Like one thing being, even though where my comic takes place, there are 4 or 5 princesses. Yeah, 4 or 5. And but she still calls Celestia the princess. It's like not the princess of the sun or the princess, it's the princess because for hundreds of years she was the only one. So that's what she's used to saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I found it. It's the vampire slang. Vampires who mix all slang for the past 5 centuries mercilessly within the same breath and don't even try to stop it anymore. Unhag me, you egg-sucking, lily-liver, jive-talking wackadoo, foul villain, cur. I bite my thumb at thee, you ugly mother effer, so hasta la bye-bye, daddy-o.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's great.
Also, thank you for the censoring. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I don't curse, so.
Yeah. Yay, we have another one. Woo!
I do. I just don't do it on this show.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
I curse vehemently, but not around Chris.
Yay!
At least I try not to.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. I am what they call a soft bean.
It's okay. It's okay to be soft.
Yep. So,
I need to check my package. Be right back.
Yeah, do that. So while I'm away, Josh, were you able to remember if you and Ari got some chocolates? Because I think I gave you or Ari some, but I don't remember.
Now I'm thinking I remember it. I don't. It's I remember you giving them. I don't remember how they tasted. I'm sorry.
That's fair. It's okay. I just remember if I actually gave them, because otherwise, if you're coming to next year's BabsCon, then I need to bring you extra.
Oh, all right.
Well, if you don't want, I'm not going to force them on you. But
Oh no. Hey, I'm not gonna say no to free chocolate. Are you crazy?
Yes, but that's not the point.
Oh yeah, speaking of those like big chocolate bars, I remember trying the popcorn one at PonyCon Holland.
Oh,
Didn't like it.
no,
I didn't like the popcorn one because it just didn't feel right. Like
that's
I
fair.
like chocolate and I like popcorn, but the way they blended together, it just didn't taste good to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Like in Norway, we have started to have quite a range of those type of chocolates. Like my favorite one is the Butterbuck, which is called in Norway. It's the smørbukk, and it basically is like the normal chocolate, but it has like pockets of floating caramel inside. Oh,
That sounds delicious.
it's so
Oh yeah, I'm
normal.
looking at the picture now. Yeah, I do remember that to some degree. Don't remember what it tasted like, but it was probably just like a Kit Kat or something.
Yeah,
Also, I don't know if it's just me, but when I look at that package, I just think it's supposed to be like full of like cheese slices.
Yeah, no, not cheese slices. Basically, what the Norwegian one is used for is basically to have it with you when you're going on mountain tours, either on foot or on ski.
That's
And
cool.
when you need a break, you break out the quick lunch and you have a fast lunch.
That explains the name.
Yes. And when you open it, you either find a small story or you find the 10, what's it called? Mountain traveling wise rules, as it's called in Norwegian. Fjellvettreglene. My dearest is sitting next to me, so tired and just like, English is hard.
Know the language we speak. English is hard. Oh,
Yes.
English is a ridiculous language.
Yeah, it is a melting pot of a lot of different languages and rules.
Yeah.
And there are benefits and curses to a more complicated and less complicated languages. Like more complicated languages like French, like they have all these little extra rules, and it's on one hand it's very frustrating, but on the other hand they have words for things that just do not have a direct translation, like the word ennui, which is just ennui, which is just this boredom with politics. It's specifically boredom with politics. Just ennui.
I've got major ennui. I'm so tired of the
I
ants
feel that.
in my mailbox.
Yeah, and then there's also languages like Latin, which are very rigid, and there's not a lot of room for misunderstanding, but not good for it's not a good language for poetry.
Oh yeah, speaking of poetry and language, there's a really good video on YouTube of some guy explaining in detail how Shakespeare couldn't have been French.
The people who thought he was?
No, it just explains like when you translate a poem, like a poem by Shakespeare in English, and you translate it into French, it doesn't exactly translate well because of the way like Shakespeare wrote. He wrote in rhythm, and like obviously French has different rules to English, so it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, I remember some French classes I had in high school. No, wait, before high school.
Middle school?
Yeah, middle school, I think it is. And how all the countries had different genders. And for some reason, I was just so pride. I felt so much pride because Norway was a girl, and I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Final Sight 618 in the chat says, Tom Scott, you are correct.
Yeah, Final Sight is one of my moderator. He's also the one who made the sponsor fan art, as they say. So we are sponsored by Bananas.
All right. Anything else we do need to talk about in regards to Celestia, or?
Okay.
Yeah.
She invaded for a moment.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Trolestia invades.
Banana.
Some people really hate that meme.
I don't really. I never
like
understood
Celestian bananas.
Talk about the princess, and then she comes along. Hello, Lightning Bliss.
Oh boy.
Hey,
Hi.
good thing Bliss wasn't here for us roasting her in the beginning.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yay! She has the Norwegian cocoa. Yay!
Very based.
it's
Yeah, apparently Norwegian cocoa is different from American cocoa. So I've been sending Bliss oh boy, as it's called in Norway.
I gotta try that.
boy.
So should I bring some for next BabsCon?
If you've got any left over, maybe you could bring some to Ciderfest. You're going to Ciderfest, right?
No, sadly I'm going to a wedding.
Ah.
I'm a bridesmaid or I'm the maid of honor. That's what it's called in English. For our friend in
Congratulations.
Ireland.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope that's a great time.
Yeah, me too.
Ireland is so gorgeous.
I've never been. I mean, the closest
had
I've
some
ever been
friends who
to.
went earlier this year. They sent back so many pictures.
I mean, technically, I have been to Ireland, but that wasn't by choice. I was flying home from BronyCon, and we had to make an emergency landing in Dublin.
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 Dublin. So
I-
my shopping list for BabsCon is chocolate and oh boy, got it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Are any of you? Well, I think Blackened is thinking of going to BabsCon. Josh and Myth, are you guys thinking about it or can? Want to?
We're gonna have to check if it's within our finances.
Yeah,
Is
here,
that-
here.
I don't know.
Harmony Fun.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, if they want to invite me to play there, I'll happily go.
Hmm.
Because this year was great. I had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, no, I don't
We're
have
going
the
to
luxury of
Harmony.
being a musician.
Yeah, do
Going
be
to-
that way.
Going to HarmonyCon next year, but nothing else in the meantime.
I want to go to HarmonyCon. I applied, so I'm
can-
hoping I get accepted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny because
Just
HarmonyCon
attempting.
always happen like right before my birthday. So it's like, okay, when are you happening actually on my birthday? I'm like sitting here waiting patiently.
One day, the stars will align.
Yeah. That I shall be the birthday kid on HarmonyCon.
Yep.
Maybe that's
Just,
the year I will go to HarmonyCon.
Yeah.
HarmonyCon's just a handy one for me, being that it's in Texas, where a bunch of my favorite people are.
Ah. Yeah.
One of my favorite
memory
bands
card.
comes from Texas.
Yeah, Bliss.
Cor-
Bliss, I need to
Correct.
come and visit you guys after BabsCon. I need to see Mama Rainbow
Please.
again.
Oh yeah, currently in Texas.
Oh.
Nice.
Is
Yeah.
it nice?
Currently right now it is because it's autumn and I'm not dying from the heat.
One of my
Hmm.
favorite bands happens to come from Texas. They're not Pantera.
I have an aunt that lives in Texas. Well, Houston, Texas, but.
I'm working so hard not to gush over Solar right now.
Well, he
You
is
know
your
I do,
boyfriend.
Chris. You've seen the artwork.
Yes.
But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, going to HarmonyCon. Nothing else in the meantime.
That's fair.
Actually pretty close to CiderCon, I just never go. Conventions are big, intimidating.
Well, they're a lot of fun, and then you never know what friends you meet up on. That's what like in America, cons last for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy moly! Why can't UK and other cons in my side of the globe last 3 days?
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm going to a event in the UK in March. It's a 1-day event.
1 day then.
Yeah. I've heard it's quite good. It only started this year though.
Yeah, like if I lived in the country, sure, but when I don't live in the country, 1 day is a bit too short to travel to another country.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of jet lag trying to get to another country and back for a 1-day event.
It's more the
Even if
money
you
for
s-
my part.
Yeah.
Well, of course, for you and Josh, it would be jet lag, but
For me, it's just like a train ride for a couple hours.
yeah.
I don't go to other countries.
What?
I can't afford it.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, Celestia.
Celestia. If
She's kind of cool, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, a little, you know? Like of the 5 alicorns, if I had to pick a cool one, like maybe I'd choose Celestia before the rest.
I mean, same.
Just
Yeah.
a little inspirational, maybe.
Yeah.
Go.
Like there's just I know it's like maybe it's really and someone alluded to this earlier, but it's weirdly in the fandom it's just the opposite, how everyone just gravitated towards Luna, and yeah, it's like Celestia's is kind of ignored.
Aw.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm for.
Luna gets a lot of
Representation.
love from the fans.
Yeah. And yeah, for a lot and Luna got a lot of love from the showrunners too, you know.
Mm.
Well, she's kind of in the perfect position. Like she's an underdog. She's a younger sibling. She's kind of an
Yeah.
outcast. She's always around at night. It's like it's hard not to feel for Luna. But yeah,
Yeah.
Celestia also needs her love.
Yeah.
Oh, Final Sight asks, "Are you doing Griffish Isles and Festivals of Friendship?" To me, I'm not going to be doing Griffish Isles this year. I mean, or next year rather, because of Everfree Encore, which is taking place at the exact same weekend, so I can't do that. But I am doing Festival of Friendship.
Yay.
So if anyone there lives in the UK or can come to the UK and wants to see me at Festival of Friendship, yeah, cool, I'm there.
Interesting.
So Celestia has a love of cakes. Do you guys have a favorite
Yeah.
type of snacks? Or food item?
I like to snack on cheese.
Mints. I eat a ridiculous amount of mints. I can't keep mints. They're too good.
What
I
about
just
you?
snack on whatever we've got.
Yeah, but do you have a favorite one? Like this, you would all the snacks, you would grab that first. What would that
Chocolate.
be? There you go. I think I'm a bit boring because for me it would rather be like, can you give me some good can you give me some good strawberries? Like the sweet ones? The real
strawberries.
ones. Not
Strawberries
the
are good
Very
too.
ripe ones.
Yeah, like not the sour ones that you get from most countries. Like either they have to be from is it Spain that is good on the strawberries? Because I know the Norwegian ones are, because we actually grow them in real sunlight. So they get really, really sweet. But
I cannot stand strawberries.
what?
Really?
Because
not?
every
At all, or
single
just-
time I have bitten into a strawberry, it has been sour.
You poor
See,
child.
sour-
Every single time, and I am tired of trying.
I feel so sorry for you.
See, Solar loves strawberries, and he dislikes that exact thing. It's like, especially the commercial ones you get from the store, they always harvest them way too soon when they're like really bright red, but they're very sour. You have to let them
Okay.
continue ripening until they get a more dull, soft red,
Josh?
and then they become sweet.
Yeah.
Josh, you and Ari need to come to Norway, and I'm gonna show you real strawberry. Norwegian, sweet, like you can smell the sweetness. Strawberry. And then
like-
if you are willing to try, I'm gonna give you that, and then you can either have sugar or fløte or cream or whatever you want on the strawberry, but try one just. I'm gonna I'm gonna teach you how to find a sweet strawberry by smell. I am a farmer. I
Yeah.
have done this since I was the age of 3.
Oh, all right.
It's possible to find ones that aren't sour. It's just the mass-produced ones are always harvested way too soon.
Spicy strawberries.
No spicy strawberries, my dear. We're not feeding friends spicy strawberries. No.
I'll eat the spicy strawberries.
Okay, Blackened will eat
Sounds
the spicy
interesting.
strawberries, but no.
I'm crazy about spice.
Just to put this in emphasis, my dearest is biologically Korean.
Yeah.
And if you have seen the Korean fire noodle challenge that's been on YouTube,
Oh,
I've heard about it.
he used
Favorite.
that sauce inside his meat cakes for dinner because he wants a little bit of taste. He crazy.
spice is good.
Same. Spice is good. I always cook with it.
Yes, I am weak when it comes to spices, but you're crazy.
You just.
I am crazy, yes.
I end up with lots of like cumin and cayenne. pepper stuff in my cooking.
Yeah, like pepper
'Cause it's
for
fun.
me is spicy, so I am
I
very.
always throw in chili flakes to the stuff I cook because I like spicy food.
Yeah.
So I don't always go as far as chili flakes, but I really like cumin because it's kind of an earthy, spicy kick.
Yeah, cumin's good.
Yeah.
It's the thing that makes chili taste
putting,
great.
like actual peppers onto something.
There we go.
Who dis?
Celestia numbing on a cake. But yeah. Josh,
Yeah.
if you and Ari ever comes by Norway for some reason, or to visit me or anything, I will do my utmost best as long as you come on the right place or right time. I think when do we have the best strawberries again? Hösten? Nej, det är på sommaren. Ja. It's in the middle of summer when the sun is at the strongest and we actually have sunlight.
Jeg skulle tro det høsten da vi får de beste tingene.
Jeg tror det I think we have the best strawberries around end of May and June. That's when we have the sweet strawberries because that's when Freya and Corona, ironically, the name of the strawberries type, actually grow the most. But yeah, that's maybe in the future because I can't bring fresh strawberries from Norway to Babscon. Otherwise, I would have done that. Me.
It took me way too long to remember this, but I finally did. Something I love eating like all the time. And some of my friends think it's weird is tomatoes, like fresh off the vine, like the large, like size of your hand kind of tomatoes, like just like Lux particularly laughs at me because I will take a tomato that's the size of your hand. I'll just sit and eat it like an apple, like taking bites out. And she's like, "That's weird." We just had to talk about this a couple days ago. She's like, "It's weird that you do that." I'm like, "Why is it weird?" She's like, "It's normal if you take cherry tomatoes off the vine and eat them because they're bite sized, but it's weird that you sit there and take multiple bites." I'm like, "No, it's not. Tomatoes are delicious. I'll
Yeah.
eat them on everything. I'll
Yeah.
eat them raw. I'll eat them cooked. I'll eat them in stew. They're amazing."
And some places that is completely normal, so I don't know why they're making a fuss about it.
It's normal where I live because my family grew tomatoes for a long time. It's like you're out working in the yard and you want a snack. It's like, hey, there's all these fresh tomatoes right here.
Nom 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 nom.
Uh-huh. Oh, when you grab them right off the vine and they're still warm from the sun, it's amazing.
Boil them, smash them, sticking them in a stew. Yeah.
Yes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Oh, that's a fun thing.
Tomatoes.
In Norwegian,
Potatoes
potatoes are named earth apples.
That's actually really cool.
Pretty fun.
Never let me forget that.
Well, of course I'm gonna mention it every time we talk about potatoes because it's fun.
I was talking about tomatoes, but potatoes are also very good, very versatile.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about the decision, like Celestia's decision to just Celestia's decision to retire? Like
was
towards
very
the
sudden.
end towards the end of the show. Yeah.
It was sudden, but it kind of seemed like a wrap up, like what was inevitably, maybe not inevitably, but seemed like something they were gearing towards anyway. Because like, what's the purpose of training Twilight to be a princess if not like, is there something beyond that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel kind of weird that the two giant alicorns are now gonna move in with all the tiny retired old ponies in Silver Shawl or something, where it was.
Yeah, unless they,
And
I
yet
don't
they'll
know,
be
they shrink.
once.
Like, or put on a spell where they look differently. Like, I would understand if they retire, but they still stay in the castle or somewhere close to Canterlot.
I mean, I wouldn't be out of the question. I mean, I do remember like seeing like apparently in the comics, Celestia disguises herself to be like a smaller Pegasus. So maybe she could do that.
What if they didn't? Okay, so they retire and they go to Silver Shoals. What if they didn't go there to be retired? What if they went there to work because they want to be hands-on in the community? Especially with older ponies who remember a lot of old things like they do. Because who else would you relate more to?
I could see them doing that.
Yeah, that would be nice though.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
Nice to
reminds
think
me.
about.
If you guys could dedicate an episode to Celestia, what would she be doing in that one before the very last episode? Like, it doesn't have to be that, like, within the 9 seasons that we have, any time in those 9 seasons, you would, like, sneak in a Celestia episode. What would happen?
Honestly, and this is kind of you know, it'd be hard to do, especially, but I want Celestia to teach Twilight like how to actually be, you know, a princess. Like yes, she's helped Twilight become a good person, but in terms of being a princess, there's a lot of like what exactly does that mean? Because technically a princess is a politician. And it's hard to do because the last thing you want to do to is bog things down with like pony politics. Like a lot of kids are, it's either going to go over their head or they're just not going to be interested in it. It's like there was a little bit of that in regards to the yaks, but it just really seemed like Celestia was out of her depth there, which I didn't really appreciate. And I was talking with Silverquill about this, and we kind of came up with this fun little idea where they're going as a diplomatic mission, and there's this little scuffle that appears that Twilight has to mediate, and Celestia and Luna are on either sides of the conflict, but they're only pretending to be on either sides of the conflict in order to just kind of show Twilight like, look, it's like there's a time for compromise and there's a time for taking sides.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, you got to figure out which one you got to figure out which one you are. It's just always seek compromise, always seek reconciliation, but also don't be afraid to take a side.
Yeah.
I would like that episode very much because it kind of gives me flashbacks to the comic about Shining Armor and Prince Blueblood in the comics, where Prince Blueblood actually is a decent pony. Gasp.
Yeah. I do like that. Speaking of Blue Blood, just honestly, I think that the episode, if he's a nice person, I think it would be just so much funnier if just like he acted the way he did because he assumed Rarity was going to be a gold digger.
And that would have made it so much better. I'm sorry,
yeah.
but I really like that headcanon. Yes, please.
Yeah.
We never did see much of him afterwards, because that really would have been nice to see, is like just extrapolating more on why he acted that way.
Yeah.
But my answer for like what kind of episode would I want of Celestia is kind of similar. It's like I would love to see, again, it would be hard to do, like what Josh suggested, but like some exploring of her lore and like moments of her life that we never saw, even if it's just every day dealing with problems from like 500 years ago to 400 years ago to you know, just seeing a background of moments that shaped her.
Ooh.
And with the episode ending in like how the show began or moments we saw in the show. So we see not just what happened, but how much it means that she went through her whole life to get to where we are now.
That would be a great idea. Just see things like, you know, she's coming across a situation and the situation causes her to have a little bit of a flashback. And so
like,
yeah.
Like I saw someone's comic a long time ago of just Celestia going through the moment where Twilight, you know, hatched Spike out of the egg and she had the magic surge. And then she did that happy little jumping thing in a circle. And Celestia has a flashback of, I remember someone else very much like you. And it shows a sepia image of Luna doing the same happy jumping circle. It's like, she had a whole life we didn't know.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, I remember M.A. Larson frequently talked about how one of the episodes that he just really, really, really friggin' wanted to do was A Day in the Life of Celestia.
Ooh.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So, Blackened. Celestia episode. What would you have made?
I would just go with that day in the life idea, just saying what she'd do around the day. because we didn't really get a whole lot of time dedicated to all that.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my
Yeah,
head
what
is still filled in with that Princess Blueblood is actually a decent pony, and he just tried to scare Rarity off. I love that so much. I don't
Yeah.
I
know
mean, that's
why.
pretty relatable. Like for content creators, there's so many people who have like, crossed a line with content creators and we've had to tell them, "Hey, back off. Hey, stop doing this." And then afterwards they're like, "Oh, you were actually an awful person this whole time." And it's like, "No, really, we're not awful people. You just crossed a line and I told you don't do that to me." And
Yeah.
it's like, imagine if he was like that. It's like he didn't like the way she was kind of putting him on a pedestal for a while
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Hasbro, please give.
Oh no, they're not gonna. They're not gonna listen. But
Yeah,
Celestia's
yeah,
retired.
yeah. There's also I'd imagine I've seen a lot of artists go through that sort of thing. It's like they get passionate people who aren't very experienced in art, and so they seek the approval of artists that they follow. And once the artist if the if the artist offers critique, a lot of times they don't take it very well.
Oofto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hard giving and taking critique because you never know how someone's feelings are gonna go.
Yeah, and I think it depends also how you give the critique.
Yeah.
Like if you use word like this is dumb and a curse word,
Yeah.
or if you say like this is done in and then another curse word for something bad. But if you say like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, it I can see that like your line art is lacking a little, or like you actually point out what it is and you talk in a respectable manner or grammar,
Mm-hmm.
like that would make a lot of difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're looking at someone's artwork and you think something could be fixed about it, you could just say, "Hey, here's the thing about your art. This thing needs to be fixed, and this is how you do it." If you're just looking at someone's art and you see something you don't like about it, and you're just like, "No, this is crap," then that's just not the way to do it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, and one thing
constructive versus destructive.
Yeah, and one
Yeah,
thing can be that you first mention what you do like about it so that it's less chance that they get hurt
Yeah.
as well.
yeah,
Because some people might have a very emotional attachment to their creation, and if they only hear bad things, then it's like, okay, I should just throw it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning
Like,
Bliss brings up a good point. You know, if you want criticism, you should be able to like you need to like be asking for it first. Like unwarranted criticism can be a bit.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's true.
Like
Think,
Yeah.
I don't
please.
like unsolicited criticism. I know I don't
Mm.
take criticism well, so I do not ask for it. But I do know I need it sometimes.
Yeah. There is an art. There is an art to taking critique and giving critique for art.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like Chris is in an artist server that I'm in, so
Yeah.
you've probably seen this before. There's a couple people in there who will post like, this detail doesn't look right in my drawing. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And I like kind of giving neutral critique.
Yeah.
If that can be a thing, I feel neutral when I say it. That I'll tell them, okay, I'm seeing this about that detail. Have you tried changing it to this, like with
Mm.
specifics and stuff? And it's
Mm.
not like I don't even pose I like this or I don't like that. It's like, I see you're using this technique. Have you tried this other option instead?
Hmm.
Mm.
Because to me that feels a lot less like, because I mentioned I'm not good at taking criticism. It's like I'm kind of trying to take the feelings out of it and just getting
Mm.
down to like the bare bones brass tacks of how physically are you putting this piece together. Like I don't want you to feel any kind of way. I just want to kind of help with your process of making it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You
I
know
can.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I've been thinking about like it's just you know there's not a lot of dissent when it comes to Equestria and how the princesses are ruling. If you've noticed.
Yeah, it's just princesses and basically nothing more.
Yeah, it's just like there's not a lot of dissent. It's just like they're very well liked. It's like no one. It's like not often are there people trying to. It's like I think the first time we ever actually got someone within the kingdom who was trying to subvert their authority was Naysay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even then, it wasn't like the princesses. Didn't. It's not that he hated the princesses; it's more that he was xenophobic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the princesses kind of get allocated to the background like a lot,
Yeah.
unless they're here to like set up something.
Yeah, and it is really hard. It's just it kind of works that is both the blessing and the curse of the show is that its lore is set up to be an adventure story, but a lot of it is set up, but it's trying to be a slice of life. It's like there is lore in this story. It's a lot of this is so well thought out, so creative that this could this why isn't this an adventure story?
Mm-hmm.
This could have been an adventure story, and we get slice of life. And the slice of life is good. A lot of it is very, very good. Like some of the best episodes have been very slice of life, like amending fences.
Ooh, yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
that's a
Love that
fantastic
one.
that was a
That got
fantastic,
emotional.
very low stakes
That was
slice of life episode. What else has been a good or freaking it's like there are and a lot of those great slice of life episodes balance both giving people lore and slice of life, like freaking The Perfect Pair.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, my heart.
everyone's favorite episode.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just really interesting to think like how would MLP be like if it leaned away from the slice of life and turned more towards fantasy,
I don't know if
like
the
like
feeling
a
would be more
fantasy
empty.
adventure.
At least for me.
Well, I kind of like the balance he's talking about, it's kind of like what I suggested for a Celestia episode of showing her life up until this point, and that's where you find the meaning in it. It's nice
Hmm.
to get some slice of life and like this is what we always do, but then also just pluck out these moments where you can you can dive into how deep an emotion is, even in an everyday setting.
Hmm.
Like if I were to liken it to my own life, it's like I get up, I go to work in the morning, and some mornings I show up, I don't want to be at work, but I show up and the sun is rising and it's just this absolutely beautiful, breathtaking view. And it's like, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm in this moment right now so I can see this. And then I go on with my job.
Yeah. Lightning Bliss also brings up a good one that from G1 My Little Pony Friends, which is basically the 1.2, where they had adventure stories, terrible plots, mind you, but they went on adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I miss.
I don't know
G1.
anything about G1
Oh.
other than the one of the movies that I watched like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
I thought it was
And
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
G1 is a special place in my heart since I kind of watched that before I knew what English was, and of course all the VHSs was in English, so I'm just ponies.
Nice.
No idea what you were talking about, but ponies. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, it's still like especially in G1, it's just like the world they created is still like very, very fascinating.
Mm.
Like, okay, there are unicorns, there are pegasi, there are earth ponies, and they all have these magical abilities. Oh wait, it's like what are these kinds of people? Like who's Katrina? Where did she come from? Like there are witches, there are humans. Like where there's it it sparks the imagination
Mm.
in a weird way. Like these worlds just spark the imagination almost a little too well.
Yeah, like remember the giant crab people who was police people who was looking for all the evil plants that wanted to eat up all the nourishment in the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goblins talking ostriches, elves.
Or the Grundles.
Oh, the Grundles. Oh.
I love the Grundles. They're so funny.
Yeah, but oh my gosh.
They're-
Oh,
they're- they're-
G1 Grogar. Oh. He was spooky. Oh.
oh yeah.
But I did love the songs though. Like, even to this day, I really love the songs.
Yeah.
They were nice. Like, fair enough, the sea ponies in G1 looks weird, but I love them.
Yeah, and I think in a big way, it's like that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of not interested in kind of G5 right now, is that the world just feels really empty. I don't feel like I want to explore it, and it feels like it doesn't care about the lore.
I can see where you're coming from.
I mean, it cares, but it cares as long as it can, nostalgia bait you. Like, oh, hey, Twilight's in this. Come on, watch our show, But then it's other things like, oh, this dragon hatched with wings.
Suddenly, you don't need puberty anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've got Sunny, who's interested in the original lore of G4, but she's kind of the only connective part of that.
Yeah. So
also,
then
Sip has shown some more interests later in the game, but that's more to understanding magic, not necessarily Twilight and the others.
I still need to watch those 8 episodes that came out.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
They're fine. They're pretty good. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I thought they were pretty good. They, like, not amazing, but it's fine enough to sit back for 20 minutes or so, and sit back and watch. But the part about world building, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, they don't leave Maritime Bay. All 8 episodes are set in the same location, but you don't really get to see anything outside of that apart from that castle.
Yeah,
other than that, it's just like one-note locations, and that's it.
That route.
Yeah, it's like, oh, awesome. It's like, oh, awesome. But it's like, this is this whole giant thing about how all the pony tribes need to come together. Everyone needs to learn how to work together. Yay! It's like, oh, we're still here. What? Oh, okay.
See,
Let's go somewhere else,
I'll watch them out of
please.
curiosity, but I've been saying this ever since the movie came out. I'm hoping that like they'll come in later with some good explanations and some interesting stuff. Because like in the movie, they went to like 3 different capital cities. It's like, okay, maybe season 1 they're in Maritime Bay, maybe season 2 they go to Bridalwood. I don't know. Maybe at some point they'll bring out this great showstopper plot hook of like, this is why all the lore is gone and no one remembers, and it's gonna be impressive. But that's only a maybe.
Yeah, like we have seen the memory stone from Equestria Girls on the board of the father of Sunny, and I'm just like, that would be perfect.
That is the thing. It's just it's like, on one hand, I know that there are some things that we do have to wait for to get explanations because I can't just cram that into the first episode. But unfortunately, I don't.
It's not enticing
hard
right now.
Yeah, it's just what they have shown us at the beginning is not great. I was not impressed with the first movie, whereas looking back, I was probably hooked onto the show from the very first of her G4 from the very first sentence. Once upon a time in the magical land of Equestria. Yeah. I was hooked from the very first because, oh, wait, hang on. They're treating it storybook style and they're calling it Equestria, Latin from the word equine, which means horse, and so Equestria means land of horses.
Horse.
Okay, they're putting effort into this. Oh my gosh, there's this lore and backstory in regards to Nightmare Moon. Okay, we're getting a motley crew of a lot of different personalities, and they're going on an adventure through an unknown and dangerous place. Wow, there's a lot of unknown things about this world that just they're very interesting. Like there's magic, there's fantastical creatures. Like, what else is in this world?
I feel like season 1 pilot did hit a really great balance. That the first half is just Twilight just going around town and meeting these individuals, and they're kind of wacky.
Yeah,
and the second half is like, we're going into a cursed forest. There's a sea serpent. There's a manticore. There's nightmare creatures. What is going on?
Perfect
that's the thing. Yeah, as
like
all things should be. Yeah, and then in the first and then in G5, the premiere, like, okay, so I mean, this Maritime Bay city is a little interesting, but then like traveling from place to place, nothing happens.
Yeah, just
Not
like, and they
really.
walk past the tree of friendship, or the, like, tree of harmony that is kind of disguised as a normal sakura tree right now. If you saw the tweet from Imalu later, but
Yeah.
it's just, it kind of like say the thing that Lightning Bliss says in the chat. For me, what kind of makes me lose interest in G5 is the writing. It seems like they are going nowhere, and at the same time in
They
a circle, and this, like, I will have all the powers that I once had, or something similar. I was just like, why can't you
Yeah.
just say I will be as powerful as ever, or something? Why are you saying like you're going back to something that you never had? And I'm just like,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean,
so
we've got
it
that,
feels like a
and then
lot of
we've
this is
got
teasery.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
like, they're doing very well at making the Ophelia, the evil alicorn. They're doing a very good job on making her toxic and manipulating, because she's hitting all the red flags every time
Yep.
she talks
Yeah.
to Misty. And I'm just like, I'm kind of proud of you guys, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to, unicorn go, alicorn go away.
Yeah, if we're
So
not
Yeah.
dealing with that, then we're dealing with things like Jar Jar 2.0,
yeah,
or even like just like Pipsqueak, something like that. But it's always the three same young ponies. It's like,
it's just,
is that it?
I get.
Does she not have like older fans?
It's just, I'm so surprised how they can write characters that well, but at the same time, the plotline and how the character talks is so
Yeah,
good.
they just don't go anywhere.
It's just,
Yeah. I think a lot of times, like, I do watch a lot of YouTube video essays, and one person put forth, I forgot their name, that a lot of writers nowadays are focused too much on subverting expectations, like just trying to be surprising, or trying to not be predictable. Because sometimes, predictability isn't bad. It's a lot of times that people can predict your plot line, it means you're foreshadowing correctly. Like, and the thing is that I do think a lot of what's happening with with the G5 stuff is, I don't know why I'm going on this.
No,
I don't know
it's
why
okay.
I'm going on this
It's okay.
tangent.
It's okay.
We all
But yeah.
lose track
It's-
sometimes. But
Yeah.
to answer magical starfish, we know as a season 1 of My Little Pony G4 was actually based on a lot of episodes from G1 that they redid or had inspiration from, and nobody ever said that G4 was perfect. It has a lot of holes, but we still love
Yeah,
it.
And a lot
exactly.
of
I mean,
people constantly criticized it for a decade, to the point
yeah.
that they made an episode about how much the fans criticize it.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep.
Oh yeah. It's
If Slice of Life was the love letter.
Yeah, people. Yeah, a lot of people have criticized it. It's what was it? Very very old analysis guy, like Tommy Oliver. It's I remember one of his. It's like he liked to. He kind of reveled in the controversy of talking about how how about the season 1 premiere wasn't as good as we thought it was, and the thing is that a lot of it, there are episodes that are good and bad. I mean, where was it? I did a whole ranking videos ranking all of the episodes and there were episodes I liked and there were episodes that I hated. And the thing is, I noticed with certain seasons, the highs are higher in some episodes and the lows are lower in some episodes. And part of that is because a lot of these characters aren't fully understood. a lot of things aren't fully so understood, so you can get away with a little bit of leeway. But as time goes on and there's a standard, you expect things to constantly improve. It's like things are supposed to get better. Like we saw that with Disney's DuckTales, the reboot. Is that at first, the characters of Huey, Dewey, and Louie were kind of similar, but then as time went on, they slowly branched out into, like being their own characters.
Mm. That is true.
Yeah.
And sorry for getting a little bit off topic, but something struck me when you talked about episodes you have done. Like, I remember before I, like, officially entered the fandom, like, publicly, like, when I was just fan of the show, I remember in between seasons, it was videos like yours, Silver Quill, Dusty Cats, Lightning Bliss, and some of the others that really kept like my love for G4 alive. Yeah. So they were like kept the spark alive, because back then I didn't go to cons. I didn't know cons existed until 2018.
Yeah.
So I think like people like you guys, and of course I also learned about pony music in 2018, so Blackened and all the others as well, and a lot of the other fan art like just exploded in my face.
Yeah.
It's just thank you guys for making content. Thank you guys.
No worries, my friend. No worries.
It's awesome, and I hope you guys continue, just like Star Wars fans or Star Trek fans, that we continue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
to do that.
There's still a dedicated fan base for like the original 60 Star Trek show. So if that's still a thing, anything's possible.
I've heard so many people say, even though they like the show, what they enjoyed the most out of the whole MLP experience was all of the fan-made content that came out of it. Because we had people like reviewers and writers like looking into these little details that they showed, and like the show will show something for like 5 seconds as a joke.
Yeah.
But then someone will take that 5-second joke and make a whole backstory out of it, and it's like, this is so interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Lyra.
It's one of those.
Oh, she sits weird. She sits weird. She must be obsessed with humans.
Yes.
This character has a wonky eye. Oh my god.
She said muffin.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. This personality revolves all around muffins.
He has brown hair and an hourglass cutie mark. It's Doctor Who.
Yeah. He's walking around with Rose.
Rose.
Oh, English, why have you forsaken me? Yeah. Actually, I see we just hit our 2-hour mark.
Nice.
Okay.
This has been wonderful.
I want to say one more thing though. As far as people comparing G4 and G5, for one thing, you're speaking in very big, very broad terms, because if you're speaking of the entire shows at once, there's a lot of negative points, there's a lot of good points in the episodes, and as far as people constantly praising G4 over G5s, we're praising specific moments in episodes that we liked or specific characters that we liked, not saying that the entire show
for
is
sure
all up to that. Yeah. It's apples and oranges at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think part of it is that, because G5 is set in the same universe as G4, it kind of shoots itself in the foot there that we kind of have to hold it to that same standard.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of elements
for a continuation, and it's just not.
So honestly, I think we would honestly be nicer to it if it was its own thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that it's set in the same universe, like just further in the future, it's hard to not compare in some points, because it's like, Friendship is Magic set the bar incredibly high, so it's got the show has big shoes to fill now.
The thing is that they also changed all the voice actors from experienced, star actors to not so experienced voice actors that are new in the voice acting job or franchise, and that totally changed the characters, because Izzy, also the voice actor for Izzy now is doing a good job. She can't go as high pitch as the one from the movie, and they changed the I will say quality of the animation, which then also kind of put a bummer for most of us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of
So-
predicted that they'd pull a Jimmy Neutron when the TV show came out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
with that, I would say, and the show, the G5 is still new. There's still chance
Still
for
new.
them growing and getting other writers or the writers being better later. So just because
Yeah.
they have
Like-
don't have a good start doesn't mean that they won't have a good show.
I mean, I'm hungry for
G4
more.
Yeah.
definitely changed a lot after the first season. Actually, if you look back at the first season, it was a lot more like
Mhm.
I don't want to say dumbed down, but it seemed like it aimed for smaller, like or
Yeah,
younger
like-
audiences.
Like if
So-
you
And it
watch a
definitely
season 1
changed
episode,
over time as they caught their stride.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I
watch
said,
it.
G4's season 1 was based on a lot of G1 episodes.
yeah, if you go back and watch G4 episode like from season 1
Yeah.
and then go to season 9, the quality difference is like night and day, not just from the writing but even stuff like the animation.
Yeah, and they
Like-
don't
Yeah.
look like the same show.
Yeah,
They-
like
not
the
really, no.
animation, like the writing in season 1 when you look back at it is really on the nose.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
plenty of potential for G5. Like I said, I'm hoping they like they have these big bangers, like these big plot hooks in store for us.
Yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
at the moment I'm not seeing it yet.
yeah.
Yeah. And the
I'm
thing
sure it'll
is
come
that-
eventually.
yeah, it'll come eventually. But it's just like at the beginning, like even though a lot of the episodes weren't perfect, it's like the start wasn't a lot of the start wasn't perfect. It's like a lot of episodes were very clumsily done. Like, and a lot of things weren't very well defined, but there were just so much good and so much interest drummed up just from the beginning that you wanted to stick through it, even though some episodes weren't very good.
Mm.
It's just
it
with
does
that- it's
occur
just-
to me.
Just with the new stuff, it's just like it doesn't feel like the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, it still
Mm.
needs some growing, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
It does occur to me. Like I really got into MLP like on the day that the season finale for season 2 was coming out because it took 2 years of coming out for people to realize, hey, this is a good show and people to start talking about it and recommending it to people and then for it to come to me. It's like maybe
Hmm.
maybe it'll just take a couple of years of people watching this to decide, yeah, okay, I'll recommend this to someone else. Because they got to hit their stride.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
can recommend the movie fine, but the series something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they deliver on the lore, it will absolutely save it.
Yep.
Mm.
Hopefully, get some better grammar. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not a native English speaker, but when I say
Yeah.
the grammar needs
Yeah.
the improvement, then it's bad.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
More mystique,
But to
please.
tie it back to the main topic, it's like I wonder if they're gonna tell
Yeah.
us whatever happened to Celestia.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely want Alicorn lore. I
Yeah.
Just
want to
like-
be drawing this villain because she's I
It's just
want
like
lore.
what it's like what happened.
Yeah,
like,
what happened? Where are they?
That's the biggest question. What happened?
Yeah, where are
History
they?
is here.
Were they all sent to
There's
the
history
moon?
of Twilight.
Yeah, it's like so I really hope that at some point do they tell us what happened. I'm not expecting a lot if I'm being honest, but hey, if they
That's
can
the best way.
if they can fix it, if they can fix it, okay, I'll give it props, but I can't ignore my pattern recognition,
No, it's
Mm,
okay.
Yeah.
It's
But
okay.
it is the best way to go into something is with low expectations.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like I don't
That's-
expect much. I am here to learn and to observe. What are they gonna wow me with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like with. Sorry to get a bit off topic, but TOE, which is basically Tales of Equestria. If you don't know what it is, it's basically Hasbro worked together with River Horse to make an RPG based on My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, where kids can also play. So it's a bit more child friendly. Where they have the lore and they have stats for all the princesses and stuff. So when I play with the Norwegian bronies, we have a lot of fun, and I hope that might be something to maybe something like that happens to G5 as well. That would be fun.
Definitely.
But with that, yeah, we are. Even though I would love to go on for longer, you guys probably have stuff you need to do, and I think we're gonna raid our dear Eliora.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like 1 a.m. now, so I'm
Yeah.
very tired.
All right. Yeah.
Someone,
Let's.
someone said our game is back on.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Then you guys can say your goodbyes or outros or shalabalaba.
All right. Maybe I'm taking it too seriously. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Bringing back a classic.
Yeah.
Myth?
I never existed. I don't know what you're asking of me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you all of you for being here. Thank you everybody for popping up or popping in or popping everywhere. Kaboom. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay brony. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.